And it says we're live. Turn on the torch, light up the flame. Time to melt some glass, my friends. There you are. Here I am to explain, to teach, and create again. Thanks for showing up. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or whenever you're watching this. That's the best thing about YouTube is it could be any time of the day. I like that because working at midnight shifts most of the time, any time of the day is the middle of the night for me. Just Today I'm going to be working on my national torch, which is a little smaller than my Carlisle that I usually have up and running. Just switching up for a little bit and going to get some repairs done. Um, and I also have the live room going on. And if you guys have a request that you would like for me to do, switch it up for a little bit. I will definitely see what we can do there. Get some repairs done. Got to click off that because I don't need to hear. Looks like somebody's already in the room. Hello, hello, whoever you are. Again, right now I'm going to be just doing a few repairs that I have. Been knocking them around, literally. So now I'm going to fix them up around, literally. That's the thing about glass is, even though it may be down, out, and down and out, just a little bit of TLC and it's back up and running. You just got to do it and treat it right. That's all. Should have treated it right to begin with, but sometimes. Hey, Tobias. Nice to know somebody's out there looking. Thank you, thank you. It's nice to know that, like I said, somebody is watching and listening because that's part of my fun is is showing off to others. And I don't mean showing off like, haha, I'm better than you. Showing off in that I love an audience. And I try not to tell you that I'm better than that you are because there are some that I'm better than, and then there's some that I am totally worse than. I have my suspicions about this last weekend because of that, but that's beside the point. Oh, you know what? Might help if I switch switch to the right camera now so that you can see the overhead, right? Flaming away. Right now I'm only running the 5 liter per minute concentrator. I figured with this smaller torch, it's not as necessary. Oops, it's just out of view. Let's sort of tilt it down. There we go. It's turning one way and the torch is turning another. Interesting. There we go. More in line. Yeah, it's a dragon I did. Actually, it's a lizard type, lizard with wings. It looks more like than a dragon. Uh, but one of my lizards with wings anyway. The wing broke off and he got wings, so all I had to do is it was a good puzzle piece, so I just heated it up and stuck them back together. Now I got to seal it in well, that's all. And that worked quite nicely. Good morning here in North Carolina, and I guess for some of you it might be afternoon or evening, who knows. That's the thing. Another thing I like about my work is that people are watching me all over the world. I mean, from China. Well, I don't know about China, but they're all over. I mean, literally, maybe one or two people watching here and there. Hello, Paula. And how are you today? Yeah, just I'm gonna play with him just a little since he's already warmed up. Reshape him slightly here and there. And with that, I think I'm gonna call that one quits. There's about a half a dozen pieces over here that I have to just add a little bit of, I don't know if you can see that. Oh yeah, you can see that. That's good. Ta-da! One down, 16,000 to go, right? Right. Um, this one's another one. Good old Moroni. He's got a little bit of a crack in him, and I'm going to seal the crack and also fix his horn slightly. Moroni is one of the Mormon angels, I guess you could say, from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Again, the most important thing I can tell you is when you got a piece, the best thing to do is warm it in, just like I'm doing. I'm literally waving it back and forth and spinning it so that it's all getting heated up. And you got to do this for a while. It's not just a in and out situation. Need coffee. Not me. Yeah, I figured that. Like I said, I knew that some people at this time of day would be watching from across the sea. There's also Karen Griffin. I can't think of her last name, but Karen, she's over there and she watches me from time to time and loves it when I do it like 4 o'clock in the morning. That's due to my again my schedule at Walmart. Okay, it's starting to get to the point where it's about the right temp, and you can tell that. I don't know how to tell you that you can tell that, but it also things like this can tend to explode if you do not treat them right. So it's better to treat them right to begin with. And again, you're just waving it in and waving it in and spinning it around and getting the heat even all the way around. It's a warming in method that I've learned. And when you think you've done it long enough, do it a little bit longer. And you'd be surprised. You'll finally get to the point where you'll say, okay, it's time, without too much trouble. Now, this guy's trumpet, I pinched it funny right near to his mouth here. So we're going to fix it. Warmed in the body and didn't warm in the trumpet. Ain't that a kick in the pants? Here we go. Some 3 mil. Wow. 3 mil rod. Will do the job. It didn't explode from the trumpet, but it cracked in two. Legit. Legit again. Used to having that marver on the top of my bench now. I mean, on top of my torch. It's good to go back to basics sometimes. Just remind you where you come from. You know, that other torch is about $200 or close to 3,000 or $2,000 off the shelf. And then this torch off the shelf is 129. And then you got to buy a couple of these torch tips that screw on and screw off. That's the main. The National is an interesting torch. It can do you quite nicely. And they're not paying me to tell you that. Should, but they're not. It was my first workhorse of a torch. You get a great range. Literally, you can go from small to very, very big. The only drawback is you literally have to stop what you're doing, take one tip off of the machine, and put another tip on. With the Carlisle, it's all built into the machine, and all I have to do is just adjust the knob, and it goes from bush flame to single tiny flame in a matter of seconds. So that's the main reason why People love those Carlisles and stuff. The bigger torches. It's the range that you can get in one setting. That's the coolest thing. Anyway, another thing you got to get used to is that the valves are reversed. Oh no, they're not. Never mind. Never mind. There's some torches that the valves are reversed on them, but not the National compared to the Carlisle. There. I'm gonna leave him alone. Stay. Never seen you make any line tubing with conventional methods. Only silver lace work and hand stripe tubing. Do you ever do stick vac stacks or for line tubing? No, I never do any vac stacks. Not that I couldn't, but I just actually it's one of those things that I never really got into. I just do it the encasing and layering instead of the backing. Where you layer a couple of put a couple of pieces of tubing together and then just layer it in. Um, that's the only difference. Um, I mean, not layer it in and then you put a vacuum on the end of it and pull it out. Um, I literally just do the encasing. I guess I wouldn't say old school, but the method of cheapology, I guess you could say, when you don't have all the expensive fun tools to play with, you make do with what you got. In my mind, anyway. Okay. Okay, we got this guy to fix up. Um, nice question there, Tobias. Yeah, I just out of preference. I never really got into doing any back stacks. I didn't even know what a back stack was for a long while. And I'd done scientific glass blowing for a while too. Clunk. Okay, we got a conch shell here that's got an interesting crack going on. And I'm going to try to heat and seal that crack. Might have to take this outer lip of the shell off to get it right. And then put it back on. And again, the main thing when you're warming something in, of course, you could put it in the oven and get it up to temp and start playing with it. This does the job. Tobias, are you a Doctor Who fan? I am. Now, it's getting there. It's one of those things. The only thing I can tell you to do is just keep warming it in and bathing it in the fire, and you just keep spinning and waving it in. And you just got to do it slowly but surely, and you can put anything back in the flame this way. You just got to, again, be patient. And when you think you've done it long enough, and sometimes I think, yeah, this is it. And then I'll put it back in the flame and it'll start to explode. When you think you've done it long enough, do it a little bit longer. The number tip that I have in this national right now is a number 2, and that was my workhorse flame of choice. You know, I got a nice variety out of it. I could get big stuff done, and I can get smaller stuff done. But it's oops. Oh, don't do that to me now. Ah, there we go. I guess I'm going to have to turn on the other concentrator, and it's going to blow this one away. Yep, I thought so. Maybe turn this one off. Let it get going again. Darn it. I should have left well enough alone, right? Come on. Might have to resort to a lighter. Yeah, that's blowing it away is what's going on. Oh, come on. Have not much trouble with just one torch? Well, that's true. I just turned that oxygen concentrator on, and sometimes the oxygen levels aren't up to snuff. There we go. I'll get there. One thing that I've learned is to have persistence. There we go. Oh yeah, that 10 liter per minute on this machine, on this torch really does give you a good range. And if that's all you got was one, just in the saving of gas and not taking it to and from your. Yeah, the audio has, come to think of it, the audio, I've seen a couple of them, and I've also seen a couple of the cartoons um, where him and Martha go off on, what is it, a couple of voyages. Um, but yeah, I haven't done much with the audio myself. I guess I should. It's a totally different genre, I guess. Just like every Doctor Who that pops in and out, he becomes a different person. You either like him or you dislike him. That's just the way life is sometimes. Right? Right. That one cracked all the way through. That's what I'm here for. I'm gonna nudge it in a little bit and then stretch it out a little bit more. Sometimes that helps. Whoa, that lip blew hot air back in my face as it came around. It went whew, right in my face. Um, right now, I've got a 10 liter per minute, but you can get away with a 5 liter if you're doing smaller beads and stuff like that. And it works out really well. You saw the very beginning of this show was nothing but the 5 liter. I just turned it on right before I turned the 10 liter per minute on and turned the 5 liter off when I got the when I had the right before I had the flame problems going on. And that was just due to the oxygen concentration until it finally gets running for a while. It's just air until it finally starts blowing in and cycling through. Bug on the table. Must have crawled by and I didn't see him. Oh well. Hey, Silver. Nice to see other people showing up and saying hi. Well, the door is wide open, and I do not have, and I am sorry for that. I do not have ventilation in this shed, but the door is less than, I'd say, 4 feet away from me and wide open, and it's not a regular door. It's a barn. It's a wider shed door, and the window frame that used to have an air conditioner in it is wide open, and that's the way I usually keep it. And that does cycle enough air through this small little shed without too much trouble. And I also have a fan at the door blowing air in my direction as we speak, air circulation and keeping me chilled. Okay, this guy I think I'm going to finish playing with. Hopefully I sealed him in there heavily enough. You won't know until later. Got to throw it through the oven, but sometimes there's a what I call a might pop, just like the old tires. You know, you buy a retread or whatever, and it might pop and it might not. They've gotten better, but still, you understand the principle. Screen top left. That's over here. Uh, no, that's over here. Okay. Don't see him, but again, with my clutter on my bench, I'm sorry. We'll get there. He ain't gonna bother me. I say that and he'll crawl up my arm and bite me and kill me, right? Big beetle. Cool. Yeah, it's June around here, and June bugs. That's what they call them. Are very prevalent here in North Carolina. I didn't see it yet, but that's probably what it is. If it's a brownish in color, itch. Okay, this one's done. Any requests? Just name it out and I can do it. Cats, mice, swans, bears, whales, snails, even other things. Yeah, this is about ready here. Okay, tap that off. Next, fire polish, of course. Here's another repair. It needs, oh, not that one, this one. Somehow the toes broke off in the front. So again, you got to warm them in and warm them out. Touch it to the ear. Fighting wasps in my studio. Ouch! Once they get hunkered down, it's hard to get rid of them, isn't it? I know it's not the best thing to have in a flame environment, but I hear WD-40 does wonders on wasps. You're okay. Tobias with the no worries, yeah. Again, the idea of warming something in, you can see what I'm doing is I'm basically just waving it in, and as I'm waving it, I'm spinning it just like this. And that's evenly coating the heat and warming it slowly. It's like boiling a frog. If you throw him in hot water, he's going to jump out. But if you throw him in cold water and warm him in slowly, you're going to have a frog stew. Yes, elephant it shall be. I did the elephant lace, I think I did the last time, but we'll do a hollow piece this time. Got the tubing ready. Well, I got tubing around and I can do that. And then I can silver fume it. We're going to be in business here. Sound good? Let me get this guy just a little bit. Yeah, he's warmed up. And again, sometimes just sort of sit there and do it until it finally, you feel like, hey, let's try it out. I think I threw this one around. That's what happened to this one. I treat my stuff pretty abusive, I guess you could say. I build it with me in mind. I'm a klutz to begin with. Haven't really been to continuous shows in a long while, but when I do go to a show, I'll pour and literally pour them out. I keep them in bags. Let me see if I can reach one of them real quick and I can show you. I literally take out a toolbox and pull out bags like this with my stuff in it. And then pour it out on the table and organize it. And with that, there are some pieces that do break. But with my methods, I can heat it back up and fix it instantly. That's all that needed done. And he's ready for the done pile. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, here we go. Hollow tubing. Now we're going to have to reach around and get the blow hose disorganized from all of this other stuff that's or connected to the table. Let's just put it that way. I got a half a dozen more pieces that I can go through fixing, but not right now. Maybe fume rods and case and tube to make some cane. Could be horns for a creature. Yeah. Actually, I'll do that. I'll do a small piece of fuming and I'll make that into an elephant too. Make you feel good? Makes you feel good. See, I didn't warm that in and it just cracked and shattered all over the place. Now, the way I'm going to do this fuming, it's basically, I'm going to use 5 just to do the trick with. And if you have 3 or 2 mil rod or cane, it'll do the job quite nicely. And this is just going to put texture into the glass. What I'm doing is I'm touching and touching and touching and pulling away, touching and pulling away, and going down slightly. It's sort of like leaving a stitch like look or loop type thing going on. And this will bring texture into the tubing. Okay? Texture of the silver fume. That's what I mean. There we go. That's done. Now I'm going to wave some more lace back and forth. And the silver will get underneath these and in and around and above and beyond and below. And then I layer and encase it. And again, just sort of back and forth, lacing it sort of, but there's a lot of holes and loops going on where silver can go in and around and about it. We'll get it all the way done like that. A couple more of these lines to go. Now, if you have some 5 mil, yeah, 5 millimeter, this type of lace works really good with that. And you can see me just plowing right along with it. And I can See, with my methods, I can actually take a 10-liter, mill, 10 mil piece of tubing and do the same thing. Ooh, one more to go. Here we go. Trapping the fume in the lace is nice. Yes, it does. It really does do some interesting variations. And the way I do this, no two will ever be exactly the same. That's the thing I like about my work in particular, is that it's unique. It is one of a kind. It is none other like it. Oops, I didn't need to do that. Put some hot glass on. Okay, silver drawer. I'm liking my new organization with these drawers, and I will do a link to, not that one. Where is what I'm looking for? Of course, it's not around when you want it. I guess I'll have to use one of these. This will do. And I'm sorry I'm out of view. I can tilt it back a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. And I'll put it back forward when we get there. Getting it out of this little plastic bag. These are nips from a silver 99.99 silver little square medallion type thing. And I only need a little bitty teeny tiny bit of this. Oops, wrong side. No, right side. Nip it off. And I'm gonna go ahead. There it is. And there it is right there on the table. Let me put that back. I think I sealed it back, but I don't. Yeah, there we go. Put that right back in that little container. Oh, you can't see where I put it. Sorry. Used to doing 3 things at once. But right here, you can't see it. Yeah, you can. It's a very small speck. You can almost see it there. And what I'm going to do now is, again, do my normal thing. And I should be warming this in now, because I've had it out of the flame for so long. I'm going to heat the rod really hot and touch it to the silver. And it takes sometimes a couple of times to do this. There it went. And now it's sort of on the glass. And now I'm going to go a little bit less here. And now just let the fume do its magic. There it goes. Ah, sweet. Bring it down just a little bit more. Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to pinch it. The reason I pinch it is to bring the silver back up to the surface, because when you're starting to heat this rod, the silver likes to heat up hotter and melt in and embed itself into the glass for some dumb reason. When you use it with quartz in the same method, there we go. Oh yeah. I think that should do it. A little bit more. Good morning, Demented. Glad to see a few people are watching. Doesn't take much, but okay, warm that up again and pinch because it again it likes. See, I don't know if you no, you probably couldn't see that, but it likes to embed itself into the glass, and pinching the glass around where the silver was brings the silver back up to the surface so that you can use it some more. Okay, that's good enough. We're going to live with that. And now we're going to kick it up a notch or two. Get out some, I think this is 9 or 10, I'm not sure. And I'll layer it in. And from this tubing, I'll make an elephant, like I said. Here we go. And while I'm layering this tubing onto this rod, this rod onto this tubing, I'm heating up the rod. And I'm also turning the rod slowly. In other words, it's not just straight down. I'm actually spinning the rod slowly but surely. I guess I could put a little dot, of course, when you want to do something like that. Never available. Never a Sharpie when you want one. Oh well. And that's what I do. I layer it and spin it, turn it slowly. Easy. And I'm heating up the rod, and I'm melting the rod onto the tubing. And we'll come back and we'll melt it all in just a second. Here we go. Next rod, layer it right on next to that one. And yes, there's a lot of air bubbles, but the way I'll start at the top and work my way down, and with all that lace going on, most of the air works its way out of the tubing. Okay, next. We're getting there. About halfway there. Slowly turn it as you bring it down. You keep this up until you're all the way around. Looking good so far. There we go. You have any questions or comments? Type them into the chat room. I see that there have been a few people chatting away. And if you have questions that you want to talk amongst yourself, that's okay too. I know you're sort of all mesmerized and saying, ooh, pretty. But sometimes you can have other conversations going on. Okay. Here we go. Now we're going to work our way from the top and seal all of this silver goodness in there. Oh yeah, it makes it a lot easier doing it on the Carlisle, but you can get the work done on this machine without too much trouble. I say machine, this National Torch. Oh yeah. There we go. I'm sort of blowing a little bit outward, but not a lot, because as you do this and you heat it up, the tubing likes to collapse in on itself instead of stay the same level. So this is basically you blow out just a little bit so that the hole does not collapse. It's looking light, but yeah, I really didn't fume the silver in as well as I'd like. Darn. Still getting the silver in there though. We're almost down to the end of the tube. Now this can be made into anything you want. You can put that in your pipe and smoke it if you get the drift. Ha ha ha. I know, bad pun. Yeah, it takes a little longer with this national, but like I say, it's good to do things from a different perspective from time to time. Okay, let it collapse a little bit. I blew it out. It was down at the end, and I wanted to make sure that that didn't really leave that what I call a natural fissure where it would crack and break off at that one spot. There we go. Okay. Okay. Now we got it. Um, I've decided not to make a complete elephant. I'm just going to do an elephant head slash bead. Okay. And it's only going to be like 1/4 of the size of this piece of tubing. Make the funk happen. There you go. There we go. Café, café, whatever that means. I saw that on Facebook, and I heard it was like a quote from Trump or something. I don't know, or a misquote or whatever. Okay, here we go. That's going to be the main part of the trunk. And now right up to about where I got the heat flaming, that's going to be the top of the head. Now to make the head. I'm going to suck it and constrict it right there. You know what I should have done was done it reverse. This should still work out. We'll make it work. It'll work. Now the ears, I've got some silver fumed rod, and I got to make this a little longer too. It's sort of collapsing here. No, I think I'm going to go ahead and pull it off. Actually, I got to do one more thing before I pull it off. Is going to create two little tiny holes on the side to where it's going to hang from the pendant piece. But I'm not going to blow them through until I've created both of them. But you got to heat just the surface. There's one. And you've got it, and it's really, really thin. You can't see that. Wait. Oh, I'm sorry. There we go. Somebody should have said, hey, adjust. It's okay. And I'll do it again here. I'm blowing it. And it's really, really thin. But it has not blown through. And each time I do this, it's gotten a little bit thinner to even. And now I can just, there's one. No, sometimes you just need a little bit of a nudge here. What you do is you got to plug the hole and blow. There we go. Now I'm going to pull this off. Seal it up. There you go. We'll make something else out of that later. Now to nudge the holes in the right direction. Put it further back. Now the ears, I have some silver fumed, and I need to do that. I need to make a video on how I made this silver fumed rod, and it's basically the same. Well, actually, sometimes what I use is the last little nib, like from this fuming rod that I just made up. When I can't get any more silver out of that rod, I'll collapse that down and make silver rod like this out of it. And all it is basically swirled encased silver into tubing. Okay, I'm going to do the fold and pull method for the actual ears. I know the ears should be just a little bit further back, but to hide the holes, we're putting them a little forward. But it should take care of itself. There's one ear. I know I make it look easy, but I've done it for so long. Practice, 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 and oh, by the way, practice. You'll get there, really. Most of my elephants like this sort of look like Horton from Horton Hears a Who. Fold and pull. Up and over. Up and over. And that's about even with the other ear. There we go. You know what? I did put the, never mind. I put the holes in the front, but we'll fix that. We'll make it look like it's in the back. Practice, practice, and redistributing. How far are you from Mountain Glass? I'm on the other end of the state. I'm down here by Moorhead area, which is right on the coast. Most of the hurricanes come right at us. One of them even sat there, lingered off the coast, swirled off, came back, swirled off again, and came back. These hurricanes around here just love us. Okay, we got the eyes going on. There's one. There's another. Okay. I might fume this a little bit more after the fact. And we're almost there. I'm going to pinch off a little bit of the top of this. See, that's one thing I like about some of these hollow tube beads that I make, in that I could have those holes anywhere. It doesn't have to be the straightness of the mandrel. I could have had one hole here and another hole at the end of the nose, for that matter. If that's the way you want to make them that way, and make an interesting designed bead, you'd be surprised at what you can come up with. Okay. Now, let's see what I can come up with here. Okay, this is the silver again. And I've actually, before I do that, I've got to reshape where the trunk is. Do a cold weld here. Right. Yeah, lucky me with the hurricanes, but we've survived them. Man, there's been some interesting things too. There'll be where I left a trash can with just a lid next to a shed. I mean, empty even, and nothing happened to it, but part of our fencing blows over. Who knew, right? But it didn't even touch the trash can. Oh yeah, this thing definitely needs some tusks to make it look. And I'm going to use silver fume tusk, but we'll get there in just a second. Okay, let's do the silver fuming again. Pinch it out. There we go. Here we go. Oh yeah, there. That's what I wanted to do the last time. Didn't have it just at the right flame, but now I do. That sweetened up the pot there. Okay, now we're gonna put some tusks, some silver fume tusks on it. One on each side, of course. And I think I'm gonna do the one nub, one straight and one nub. You know how they get broken in natural life. Okay, what I'm doing right now is a little mouthpiece, mainly for the person who picks up the necklace piece and looks at it later, because they wouldn't be able to see it where it is. Okay, we're getting there. There's one tusk. Yeah, Tornado Alley. My wife lives up towards Michigan, and they have a tornado alley. Matter of fact, where she works, they've got like tornado shelters built into the buildings themselves. It's a tough life, but somebody's got to live it. Okay, here we go. Tusk number 2. Oh, that's right. Never mind. Well, actually, I did it to the end, so we're going to leave it. Stay. Now, warm it all out. Spiral cane, yes, it has some very swirls of color, and I will show how I make those canes. I really do need to do a video on that because it does come in handy to have some silver fume cane handy. I mean, to make a horse, an elephant, a little bit of anything, and also to do like elephant tusks with. And it, matter of fact, my next video or the video after that, I will definitely, and I'm going to be doing a couple more in the next today or tomorrow. Um, Off from work, so gonna keep working. You know how that is. And we got one elephant up and done. I will have pictures of these guys that I repaired and have done today. Now that's a pretty cool picture. On Facebook, and also I'll have them grouped for a group shot on the actual page, you know, for the picture for the this this video. And here we go. All of them together in that special. Yes, I do need to show how I made the spiral swirl. Now you can do it another way too. The same way I do the tubing, you just collapse it down completely, and then make that into rod uh, or cane, as you want to call it, and that works out real well. Just one piece at a time, one thing at a time. That's the way I usually work my glass. Oops, I forgot. I had turned off the oxygen on the valve of the torch, and uh, it has one of those flow regulator things on. If no oxygen is being flowed off, it shuts the machine off and tells you, hey, there's no oxygen going on. That's what that noise was. Thanks for being out there today, guys. I appreciate it. I will be back probably tonight around 8-ish. I'll try to schedule it and put it up so you guys can see when and where. But until next time, right. Um, but I do appreciate it, and I am thankful that you're part of the crowd. Um, Not sure what it's called, but do you have a video on capsule of a critter in a small bottle? Um, I've done a Jonah inside a whale. I've done. I could probably do a couple of those on a video if you'd like. Uh, Give me some suggestions on the animals that you'd like to see done in. In other words, I've done elephants, the little elephants, unicorns with baby unicorns, cat with a little mouse inside. I've done frog with a fly inside. I call that frog with a buzz. I think I've actually got that video up there. I can probably put a couple of links if I can find them and put them below down down below the the description thing. Uh, Thanks, Tobias. And as always, it is fun talking to you guys and chatting as I work. You know how I can be. And as always, carpe vitro and enjoy your day. That was me saying thanks, guys, before I went off broadcast.